Hello everyone, and welcome back to Jesse Hecht Creative. Today we're going over some Super Mario Bros. Enemies from knex. Before we begin, leave a like, hit subscribe, and comment below your favorite figure in this review. It really helps out the channel. Now let's get to it. Starting off with your regular garden variety, regular old, just normal Goomba over here. There is no mobility to this guy, just nothing. No arms, no legs, well, no arms actually, but just really nothing much for this little fella. The face is just your generic Goomba face, that's basically it over here, but on the back it's interesting, there's a peg. I'm not sure what this peg goes to, but it looks cool anyways. There's also some writing dating back to knex 2011. That's pretty weird on this, but this peg is even weirder. I'm not sure what it really goes to, and honestly, I don't care. I do like how this figure looks, but there's no mobility. I like the coloration though. They at least did a good job with that. The bottoms of the feet have color, and it's nice, but really nothing to be said here. And for some reason, I have 4 of these. I can kind of like pose them like in an army, which looks kind of cool here actually, but I do not need these in the slightest. Also, they're really light, not heavy at all. And these Goombas from knex stand about 1 3/4 inches taller, so. Here's the Goomba standing next to Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach. The Paragoomba is up next, and this is an interesting figure. I like how the face looks much better than the other ones, and also the wings look good. You can't really move them or anything. Let's talk about this. The paint is missing some parts of the eye over here. Maybe it's gotten scratched over the years of me having this, and the wings look really nice, basically like the Jackson ones, except you can't move them or take them out. And going around to the back, we do have the 2013 actually, so there's been a couple years since the first figure for that Goomba. That's pretty neat on this. But the biggest thing is the hole on top of the head, and I swear I have more Goombas somewhere with also holes in the bottom as well as the top that can all stack up, and Goomba stacks were a big thing back then in the early 2010s. You had to be there, but otherwise this figure looks the same. I do appreciate how this looks. We're missing the pads on the bottom of the feet though, and the coloration's kind of spotty here and there. It's just okay for me. And the Paragoomba stands at about, I would say, 1.5 inches taller, so. Here's the Paragoomba standing next to Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach. Next up is the Koopa. They did a great job with this one. It looks basically like the games, and I think in some ways better than Jack's in a way with that head sculpt. Let's talk about it. The mold has some cracks in it, kind of weirdly, near the inner part of the eye. That's kind of strange. But we do get some nice paint up here for the eyes, and that's good. They really captured the roundness and the puffiness of the cheeks as well as the bill over here. They sort of hook bill thing. Wait a minute, that's a boss from Yoshi's Island. And going around to the back, we do have the same kind of writing on here. What year is it? 2012. So we're just hopping through time here. That's awesome. And for this Koopa, we do get a swivel all the way around over here. It works nice for the head. The body is pretty cheeky and cute in that it has usually 3 stripes, but the 3rd stripe is actually the waistline. That's pretty neat. And the arms are kind of like Lego in a way, where you can move them up and down, as well as swivel this claw. That's awesome over here. And going more towards the back, the shell is divided in 2. You can take it off, but you can't take off the bottom part. I don't think. Oh, you can. That's pretty weird. You can technically have your Koopa go into its shell, but it's cracked in the middle, which is kind of weird. Mario must have really, really heavy shoes. And as a nice touch without the shell, the back has some really nice paint on it. It's really weird to see paint on an action figure's back. Honestly, it's strange. And looking at the shell up close, we do have some paint on the inside, a little bit of gray, which works well, but black would have been much better. I'm still worried about the shell dividing though. And for the legs, we do have some nice paint on them, some very good detail, yellow on the bottom and green all the way around. And on the back we do have holes that are also holes over here too, and you get some nice sit for this as well as a running kind of pose. It works out pretty well. Nice. The green Koopa stands at about 2 inches taller, so. Here's the green Koopa standing next to Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach. The red Paratroopa looks really nice. I like how the red is like an orange in a way for the shoes, as well as the wings look great, but they're basically a carbon copy of the Goombas. The head is the exact same, minus those weird cracks. It looks much nicer here, but a little weird molding over there. All the way around looks good too. Same date on there as well. And the head does swivel all the way around, doesn't hit the wings or anything, and it's just a nice head sculpt. I really love the Koopa head sculpt. It's very cute. The body is the same from the front, but the back has wings as well as some way better paint. I think this is a better figure than the green Koopa, honestly. The wings are just stuck in position. You can't really move them at all or anything, and it's fine, but the separation is even more evident here with that. I gotta push this in even farther. I'm looking at the shellless back once again. The paint is pretty much the same over here. You can't really twist the waist at all though, but you can move the arms back further if you want, I guess. And while the shell doesn't balance really that well together to make a whole, it does remind me of that one cliffside jump minigame from Super Mario RPG, one of my favorite games, so that's great. And the feet are a little bit more of an orange color than a red, but I do love them. It's a nice color actually. Very good on this one, and the articulation is the same as the previous, working out quite well for this figure. And I have two red Paratroopers for some reason. I'm not sure why. They look nice together though, and it's good to have enemies in pairs, especially with what's coming up soon. The Koopa Paratroopa stands at about 2 inches taller, so. Here's the red Koopa standing next to Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach. More Mario enemies right after this. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for watching so far. Make sure to click like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and hit the bell icon for more creativity. Now let's get back to it. Now the Hammer Bro, the scourge of my Mario gameplay, to this guy. Let's talk about this little hammer fella. I adore how cute the eyes are on this. They're like a really bright blue. It's really cute and kind of hypnotizing in a way. And the beak is adorable too. I love how the skin tone looks. It's a little bit darker as well. And the strap is even darker than that. Very nice. The helmet is missing some key details, such as filling these in with black, which would be great, but at least they did this, so it's a win, I guess. And looking at the date, this is from 2013. Moving on up in the world, and the white looks nice up here too. We also get a swivel all the way around for this really nicely done Hammer Bro head. The body is pretty much the same as the Koopas, down to the shell on the back, and the shell has some nice white on it, looking really good on that front, though there are a couple spots that are kind of larger than they should be. I think this figure kind of rolled around and lost some paint, or gained some paint, or I'm not sure, but it's pretty intricate back here, honestly. And taking off the shell, you can see that the stripes aren't really painted that well in this one, sadly. It's kind of a bummer, but the arms are a different color, which looks pretty cool. And it has the same articulation as the previous, with the swivels and everything, working out really nice for this figure, but you can't twist the waist. That's a bummer on that. The shell on the ground looks better than the other ones, though. It's a nice little touch over here. I could glue them together, but they could have had a peg also put them together. That would have been great. And the feet are shinier and glossier, I believe, and a little darker green than the regular Koopa, so this is nice. And of course the leg tone is different also. You get some nice yellow on the bottom, as well as a good sitting position for this guy. He doesn't really stand up though, and prefers to stand honestly than sit. And this being the only figure to come with an accessory, the hammer looks awesome here. I love how it's basically straight from the games, with the black head and the stick going down through it, as well as a tie tying it together. It just works so well and looks really nice. Even when it isn't painted that well, it's still pretty good. You want to keep it though a little bit higher on the grip, otherwise it will fall off. And you get some good articulation with it as well on that grip, and it's just so nice to see Hammer Bros. I love them. Not in-game though. And in this case, I actually sought out 2 Hammer Bros instead of just one, because they're bros, they're brothers, there's 2 of them. Yeah, that works really well. And the Hammer Bro itself stands at about 2 inches taller, so. Here's the Hammer Bro standing next to Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach. And quickly going over this red Cheep Cheep over here, it is pretty nice, kind of like Sonic eyes over here. I never noticed that. The mouth is huge with big lips, and I love the fin on top too. It looks nice. There's also a port over here for something, and a port down here. I'm not really sure. And the wing thing, you can't really move it all that much, sadly, on both sides. It's really rubbery, by the way, though, and might break eventually. I do love the tail fin back here, and that's rubbery too. Wait, are all these? Yeah, this is rubbery. That's rubbery. Rubber. Eyes? No. Mouth? No. Body? No. Weird. And looking for the date on this one, it is really hard to see, and it's 2013, I believe. Yeah, it looks nice. It just doesn't do anything, honestly. Strange. The paint on this figure looks very nice. On the bottom, it has some weird molding issue or whatever, but I do appreciate this figure, but it's gonna die faster than the rest with all those rubbery parts. And the red Cheep Cheep stands at about 1¼ to 1½ inches taller, so. Here's the Cheep Cheep standing next to Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach. I found this blooper in my Knex Mario figures box. I'm not sure if it's even worth mentioning, but I thought I'd just mention a blooper before closing out. It looks pretty nice. The paint looks pretty good, and I like the shape of it. It's inert. You can't really move it. There's a peg on the bottom, though, as well as these little fins over here. I want to give him a little handshake. I love bloopers. They're very cute. But then, Chekhov's gun. What have I been doing all this review? Checking out dates for these as well as copyrights. So we have 2012, and yep, there's Knex on this one. So this blooper does count as a Knex figure, as inert and non-movable as it may be. And this blooper stands at an incredibly tiny 1¼ inches taller, so. Here's the blooper standing next to Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach. Overall, enemies of Mario, friends of Knex. The Goombas are pretty good figures, but I much prefer the Paragoomba. It has way more going for it rather than the small horde of Goombas with that weird peg sticking out of them, and isn't that great? The Koopas are surprisingly good. I like the half-shell thing. It's pretty cool. I'm not sure which one I like better, but I think green is edging out slightly. It's just so cute. I love them. The Hammer Bros really win me over, though. I love how they look, as well as the accessories are awesome. The paint is pretty great on them, too, and they're just such nice figures. A great evolution of the Koopas. And while the Cheep Cheep is just okay, those rubber pieces are going to fail instantly, I think eventually, so stick with the blooper. It's very adorable, and I love how small he is. If you're a fan of Super Mario Bros., Knex, or the enemies of Mario, then you will love these figures. They're all really good. But I would highly recommend saving nature and going green with these, getting the green Koopa and the green Hammer Bro. But make no mistake, evil in a half shell, Bowser power. So which Knex Mario enemy in this video is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching Jesse Hecht Creative. Make sure to click like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. You can also visit us at jessehechtcreative.com for more reviews like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and keep being creative. Stay tuned.